You have just entered the bear crawling nation. This is Armored Mon. Welcome to the other side of live.
Welcome to the other side of live. I am your host, Mordant Mon, as already stated in the bumper. And my co-host is Charles of the Bear Crawling Nation. Charles, why don't you say hi?
You can have a steak dinner or a grenade. It's your choice.
What are you talking about?
That was the dumbest line I heard in a TV show today.
What?
I've been waiting to
really how we're beginning this?
Yes, I've been waiting to spring that on somebody.
What's the show?
It was Burn Notice. I was watching Burn Notice this afternoon, and the guy who's the hijacker or whatever, he's like, you can have a steak dinner or a grenade. It's your choice. I'm like, really? I'll take grenade. We're all out of cake.
Cake or death.
Yes.
Eddie fans.
Cake or death. We're all out of cake.
All right, we are beginning our show tonight with, we have a lot of topics going on. We will figure out what the actual topic of the show is once we get into it. And if we seem to be discussing something prevalently, then that's going to be the topic. But for the most part, we've had 4 weeks off. We've had a month off. You know, we do this bi-weekly show, and so we did not do the show last week because we were both on vacazione. We were both on vacation.
What? Oh, yeah, that too.
But during the course of the show, if you wish to call in with any questions or comments, please, 813-413-7133. That is the number. If I knew how to put it up, I would, but I don't.
We need to work on that.
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah, not now.
No.
20 minutes ago. We could have worked on that. So, Charles, vacation in Florida, Disney World. Tell us about it.
It was intense. We misplanned a little bit. We thought we were going to be going down on a Saturday, and we'd have all day Sunday just to relax at the resort, and then do our traveling, Monday through Thursday and come back on Saturday. It turns out I'd booked it because why wouldn't I? I work on Saturdays. I'm off on Sunday. So I'd actually booked it from Sunday to Sunday. So we drove down on Sunday and got there. The resort was amazing, by the way. We got a...
Where'd you stay?
Old Key West Resort. And I officially hate timeshares. I got suckered into one a couple years ago. It's been the bane of my existence. It's been one of the only and yet major regret of my life type of deal. But you know me. I'm going to overcome. And if I have it and I have to pay for it, then I'm going to use it. And we were able to trade our dinky little timeshare to get into this very nice mid-level Disney resort. And, man, it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And the biggest thing, you know how you say you stir the quantum soup and you put it out there, and the whole time playing this thing, I was like, the one thing I want, I have no reasonable expectation to get this at all, but the one thing I want is to be able to see the fireworks from the hotel room, from the resort. Dude, we did. We were on the Epcot property, and from the kids' bedroom, all I do is open the curtains. You could watch the fireworks from Epcot right outside the window. I mean, it wasn't like being on top of it, but you could see it and hear them exploding, and the kids love that, and I got it. That was the one thing I really wanted, and nailed it. So
Very nice. I remember one time I went to Disney and I was there with a friend of mine, and we actually went in and scheduled dinner in Cinderella's castle, and we were going to try to do lunch, but it was pulled up, so we were able to go to dinner, and they brought us in, and we went over by the window, and it was nice. The dinner was great atmosphere and everything, and all of a sudden the lights start coming down, and the windows open, and there are the fireworks. So I'm watching the fireworks from Cinderella's castle. I had no idea this was going to happen. So it's just very serendipitous, and you're right, like stirring the quantum soup is like a little gift. Here you go. Here's something extra Disney's got to give you. So it was very nice. I recommend it wholeheartedly.
Me too. They do put a lot of effort in doing the fireworks and the presentations, and then it really is the happiest place on earth. I mean, even though it was hot, I don't like dealing with unexpected situations when it's just a lot of people and you always have to change your plan on the fly. I mean, we'd never been as a family to Disney. I think I went as a little kid. My wife has been a few times as a teenager. My kids obviously have never been. So we didn't know what to expect. So you didn't really have a plan going in. And it was still really cool, even though the kids got tired and I got tired and it got hot and Aaron got hot. they loved meeting the princesses and getting their autographs. Each kid had their own autograph book. By the time we were done with the whole week, I think we did almost 60 autographs per kid.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, that was their thing, man, because they had seen their mom's autograph book before we left, and that to them that was it. You go to Disney for autographs. They didn't know about the rides and all the other stuff, and so we did get to do the rides, and they enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, before we get into the show, let's talk about the MixLore link really quick. Are they able to put it up here in the chatter box? So if anybody wants to check it out that way, can somebody do that?
Yes, it's MixLore.com /
Yeah, there's it. MixLR.
Yeah, MixLR.com / bear crawling / live.
Oh, see, there's more to it than that, Rock Girl.
I just learned that. By the way.
Real quick, can you explain what it is so that those listening can go, oh, so I can check this out whenever I want to when they're live, or they can sign up to be notified of that?
Well, actually, if you want to be notified, I'm glad you brought that up. One thing for everybody in the nation, Twitter, at BCN Live Now. That's BCN for Bear Crawling Nation. BCN Live Now. Excuse me. All it does is let you know when any show is going live. And it'll have the title of the show like this one is, the other side of live, number 18. So if you just want to see our Mordant Mon and you want to know he's live, if you see this, if you follow that on Twitter, or if you follow, we haven't fixed all the Facebook stuff up. It's only on Bear Crawling on Facebook, facebook.com / bear crawling. There'll be a link. If you see that, all you have to do, if you have a smartphone in your car and you have it set to let you know when the little buzzer goes off, you hit the link, and you're streaming. I did it last week when I was on vacation. I streamed the show through my phone, the Bear Crawl Nation live show, actually. Sounds great. It'll kill your battery. I mean, you do have to be prepared for that, but you can listen anywhere in the world you are when we're live. So it's at BCN Live Now on Twitter.
Is that just Bear Crawl Nation Live, or is that all of the Bear
That
Crawl
is
Nation
every show in the Bear Crawl Nation when you go live. Other Side of Live, Bear Crawl Nation Live, The Road Show.
Nice.
I thought there was one other. Oh yeah, World Traveler Jim when he does his. So yeah, anytime any of us goes live, and it'll let you know, so you're not just stumbling, so you're not accidentally hearing something you don't want to hear. It'll tell you this is the road show, but it's all on that one Twitter, so you'll know anytime any of this happens. Right.
So was it? Did you get your batteries recharged from your vacation? Was it everything you hoped it'd be, or I know it was great for the kids and probably great for the wife, but how was it for you?
I got sick actually towards the end of it, but it was good. So I don't do well with stress and traveling. I get sinus issues, and I mean, different atmospheres, different air, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. It was good when I got back. I took off an extra day from work, so we got back on Saturday. Sunday, my wife had in-law birthday stuff, so she took the kids, and I was sick, so I just crashed at home, worked on bear crawling stuff, and just chilled out. And yeah, we took the rest of the week and recharged, and it was great. I was ready to go.
That's awesome. Well, as you know, I went to New York City to spend some time with some friends over there and to see a very good friend of mine, Chris Buehlman. I believe it's Buehlman. Chris Buehlman. It's a name that you're going to begin hearing pretty soon because he's just come out with his first book. It's a horror, and it's called Those Across the River. And the premise is, I haven't read the whole thing. I've only just gotten into it. The premise is, it's during the 1930s, takes place during the 1930s, and I believe it's a werewolf story. But this is before the movies came over, so nobody really has a concept of what that is. So the language is different. They don't go, oh, look, a werewolf. They have no idea what it is. And I haven't gotten to the point where the monsters are there yet or anything, but he has a very nice flavor of writing. And something that he commented on while he was doing his book signing is that some people will say that some of his characters, especially female characters, sound like 30s movie actresses. And he goes, well, there's a good reason for that. I spent a lot of time watching those movies, so I get the dialect down. So there's that kind of thing. And it was very nice to see him. You know, I remember when he first came out to the Renaissance Festival in Florida and auditioned for the chess match, and he's grown into a brilliant man. He's gotten a poetry award for I don't know what, but for something. He's written several plays, and now he's written his first book, and I think that we're going to see big things coming from him. I believe they're talking movie out of this thing as well.
Wow.
So it was nice to go to the Word bookstore in Brooklyn, New York, and see a lot of my friends there. See a lot of friends from the New York Renaissance Festival, or I think it's the Tuxedo Renaissance Festival is going on. So I was able to see a lot of people there. If you check out the Chatterbox, the movie guy has put up a link to his book from Amazon.com. So boom, right there. But I had a good time. At first I wasn't going to go because I had just had my surgery, which we will get into. I just had my surgery and I wasn't feeling great. And I had so much stuff that I could be doing. I was hoping my doctor was going to go, don't go. There was a little bit of complications with everything that happened to me. I was hoping he was going to say, don't go. But he's like, no, go. And I'm like, all right. And I'm glad I did because the trip was worth it. To me, it was something that, no, this is kind of in the way, something I've got to do, and I'm not really looking forward to it. I was, but now it's in the way of stuff that I'm normally doing. I had such a good time. Good. It was fantastic. I love New York. I love New York.
Do you have boxers that say that?
I don't, but I did get my Tortuga boys. I got them, what did I get them? Did I get them spoons? No, I got them New York bottle openers. That's what I got them. I was looking at spoons. I used to get my mom spoons everywhere I went. So, from each place.
Yeah, like the Tick.
So, yeah, just like that.
Anyway, yeah.
Just like that.
I noticed.
So that was my vacation.
Ronnie Rocks was putting out that she was going to the NYRF, and immediately I think NERF, NYRF, New York Renaissance Festival. But now she's flying to the TRF, Texas Renaissance Festival, and I didn't have time. I almost posted on her Facebook page. She was flying from NERF to turf. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like from fake football to real football. I don't think the New Yorkers will appreciate it if I say that.
No. How do you know this author? I mean, how did y'all meet? What's your relationship and all that to him?
We met at a festival in Florida, the Bay Area Renaissance Festival. It was at the time it was in Largo, Florida, and I was either at the time I don't think I was co-directing. I think I was just doing choreography. I think I was just directing choreography or assistant directing the Human Chess Match, and he auditioned for it, and that's how I met him. And he was just this big goofy kid that I want to be at the Renaissance Festival. Who turned out later on to become a brilliant man. Those people that you look at and go, stick with me, kid, you'll be fine. And then they grow up and you're like, oh, please, sir, can I sit at your table now?
Yeah, big goofy kids usually grow up to be your bosses.
Yeah. Well, the brilliant ones, and he is definitely that. So.
Well, cool. Is he talking
acted
about
like he knew me and everything? It was great.
Is he talking about having a certain actor that we know be the lead role in his movie?
No, I told you he was a smart man. I'm sure he'll let me audition. But he's just the writer. They won't listen to him after he sells it. Come on.
Yeah, once he's cashed a check, like, you're who? What? No.
Yeah. It's our story now. Leave us alone, little guy. Write another book. So.
There you go. Oh, cool. Glad
so once again, I think it's time for me to put in 813-413-7133. If you have anything you want to talk to us about, we're happy to listen to you. It seems like our podcasts they vacillate between one podcast will be a lot of callers and we'll be talking to everybody about that. Then the other one, we're just kind of talking about a subject or whatever. So I'm just curious what this one's going to turn into. I think it's just going to be us talking about our vacations and stuff. This is kind of a, getting to know you. What have you been up to? What's going on in your Mordant world?
So you're saying you want to cut the vacillation out?
No, I'm just commenting.
Are you not down with a vacilectomy? No?
Are you really trying to be funny? Yes, I am down with the vacilectomy.
So speaking of, what is up with your back, dude? That's like a scar from Ninja Gaiden or something, man. That's wow.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we're just listening to the podcast. I had some minor back surgery, and it's my upper back and shoulder. It's over on this side, and I have had a cyst for years, and it's grown to a relatively big size. And we finally got a dermatologist, and by we I mean the Tortugas. We were like, put it out there going, hey, is there any dermatologists that's our friends or our fans? And somebody chimed in and said, yes, I am. So we were able to do that, and we all got some work done. But he was like, yeah, I can take that out.
Okay.
I would take that out. So, we weren't sure what it was. He was saying it's fine. It's just a lipoma. At first, I'm telling people it's either a lipoma or lymphoma. And they don't get freaked out. And they're like, no, lymphoma's bad.
Yeah.
Lipoma, use that word. So, and that's all it was. And it was an outpatient surgery. He, gave me a lot of injections and then cut me open, and I didn't feel anything until he got to a certain point, and then I felt a lot.
Right.
And then he gave me more injections, and it was about the size of a kidney. And there's a few videos and a lot of pictures, but I chose to just show the video of the afterwards. So there I was in, just getting cleaned up and everything, and I showed my scar. And I think Hello Kelly commented that she was like, oh, you almost made me throw up. And I'm thinking, I have tons of stuff with my back open that you could see. So be glad I can show you that.
Well, it was your nonchalantness, I think, for me. You were like, yeah, this over here, they say it's big. I'm sitting here watching it eat a snack on the counter because blood sugar is low. I mean, it's huge. I think it's the size of my fist. It's like, that's huge, man. That's when they have to use double bio bags. That's a lot. I'm just saying.
It was bigger than a golf ball. It's 9 centimeters by 5 centimeters or 6 centimeters by 3. So it's about like that.
Yeah, a lot. Big.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
So, and then you showed your scar. I was like, wow. I was thinking, I don't know why you never mentioned much about it. I was thinking more of like like you go in for mole removal, it's a little laser pin stun. Because you're like, it's outpatient. I'm just going in for a minute. And we were on the phone right before you did this. Like, no big deal. Just, I'm like, and then you see, I'm like, that's a scar. That's when you tell the ladies, I got this, and wow,
That's a man scar.
Right? How are you feeling there?
Yeah.
Everything's good? Everything's fine?
Everything's fine. It was great. In fact, I'm just about to, this all happened 2 weeks ago. I just posted the vlog about it last night. So people are responding now. Are you going to be a performer? Are you going to be okay? I'm like, 2 weeks ago, I was iffy. Now I'm fine. And the worst part about 2 weeks ago, honestly, I went home. Everything was fine. I was all excited. Oh, good, we're done. I went home and I laid down on the bed, and I guess I went at a certain angle, and I look at my shirt, and there's blood all over it. So I called the doctor, and it was early enough in the day. He's like, come back and let me look at it. I went back there. He's like, yeah, you're bleeding on the inside. So what he did was, because I had to be able to perform that weekend, he put on a pressure bandage. And if you look at the Tortuga Twin Facebook page, you'll see me with red and blue kind of these bandages. I look like an X-Man, with the stripes this way and the stripes. The first night he had it just digging in under my armpits. I was really uncomfortable. He had given me codeine, Tylenol with codeine. I didn't take it. I didn't need it until that night, because the bandages bothered me so much. I needed to take it then so I could sleep. And the next day when he wrapped it again, he wrapped it around my ribs as well, so it wasn't digging up into my armpit. So, and everything was fine until, you're performing all day. It turned out to be one of the hottest weekends. So all the sweat would get in there, and then it would dry, and so the salt's in there, and it's just like itching and rubbing.
Now, am I to assume...
He drained me.
Am I to assume that you were not actually wearing your bandage while you're performing? Because I can't imagine you doing your show with that big bandage on.
Oh no, I was doing. There's pictures there. The bandage was on it. Yeah, absolutely.
So
I had to
so
keep
you
the pressure
did
bandage so it wouldn't keep bleeding, and it wouldn't bleed out of my costume.
So you did I know in Georgia at least you do a R-rated show, which is y'all stripped down. Did you do that?
Go topless.
Yeah.
Yep.
With big X-Man bandage and everything.
The big difference was I run backstage so that our minions could help me because I couldn't take off my vest and take off my shirt.
Right.
I wound up having to do it myself on Sunday because there was other things happening backstage that they weren't able to help me. And what happened then was it pulled the bandages up. So they were all twisted and really itchy during that show. It's really not a fun thing.
Right.
But yeah. So for that weekend, and that was 9/11 weekend. So here I have blue and red bandages on me, and my white skin. So I was red, white, and blue. Very patriotic.
Oh, I totally forgot to throw you under the bus tonight. Every holiday we have that conversation Of, what'd you do for your holiday? And when you're like, hey, what'd you do for your vacation? I'm like, nothing. I don't believe in it. I think it's just commercial. I was going to throw you under the bus for a second and I forgot. My bad.
That's all right. What'd you do for 9/11?
I drove to Florida.
There you go. You went on vacation.
That's not even a holiday. It's gonna be.
Talking about it though, there are people petitioning that 9/11 should be a holiday, and I think that it should.
Why? Why do you think they should?
We all celebrate it anyways. Well, or we all. It's like Memorial Day. It's a remembrance day. It's not we're not going woo. I mean, we are a bit celebrating life, but just as much as Memorial Day, I think it should be a holiday. That's my personal take on that.
Yeah, maybe.
So if anybody wants to call in and talk about that, 813-413-7133. So everything's fine. Everything's fine with my surgery. The stitches are all out. I think last Tuesday I got half the stitches taken out. Last Friday, I got all the stitches taken out. Then I'm just like kind of barely itching my back. Oh, that feels so good. And everything was fine on stage. I went and worked out a couple times, and I was very careful, so that didn't hurt. But I tend to overflex and move around a lot on stage. And I noticed on Saturday there was one moment where I moved my arms back, and I was like, crink. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And for the rest of the day, as it was healing again, it started itching, and I was like, okay, that was a warning. So the next day I took it easy. That's it. That's my surgery story.
And I'm very, very glad that you shared. I am. I mean, even though it was like, holy crap. It was very cool that you shared, let us into that part of your life. And I mean, that's part of what we do in the nation. We don't just entertain or talk or, play fun characters or whatever. We let you in on what we do and how we are. And I'm glad you did that.
Well, congratulate yourself because you put the bug in my ear. You're like, you should really do a vlog. And I was like, I'm not going to do a vlog. Well, all right, I'll ask them. And they're like, sure. And actually, they're filming it and everything. And he's cutting into me already. And there's commentary going on. And he's like, you're just taking pictures, right? And I'm like, no, they're vlogging it because I'd asked them to do it. He's like, you're not doing a movie. I was like, oh. And the nurses get really nervous. And he's like, you're not doing a movie. You can take pictures. So from that point on, they're all taking lots of pictures. And
why?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe insurance purposes. We were very candid with everything. There was a few times where I was screaming when it felt like it was biting on me, trying to stay in there as it was cutting them out, And he's like, does it kind of hurt or does it hurt a lot? I'm like, it was kind of. Then when I started cussing him out, he's like, okay, put more, whatever. Yeah, I don't want to say Novocaine, but whatever it is. So you could tell that's when it really hurts when I started cussing him out.
Yeah. I had that experience when with something to do with babies. I don't want to mess with your artist, whatever. But when I had my son,
dude,
not the making them, not the making them that birth. When I had my son, I'd actually really made a big deal out of I'm going to catch him. I'm paramedic. I'm trained. I'm
right.
And everybody was cool with that. And even though I wasn't really podcasting much back then, I was doing a little bit, but not a lot. I think I'd stopped podcasting at that point for a while. But I still document. I mean, that's just me. I document everything. I came back from Disney with 856 pictures and videos. It didn't feel like enough. I just document everything. And they were going to go, we're going to take your baby and go do this. Like, okay, I'm coming. Like, no, you're not. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, we'll just be right back. And at that point, being a new dad, being new to the world and the way it works, I'm like, okay, now if same thing happened, I'm like, no, you're not leaving because it's my kid and I'm the patient or my wife's the patient. I still have rights here. I can videotape anything I want and I'm going to videotape that because I want to. Thank you. Or you don't get to take him. But that's why it struck me as odd is I've had other doctors do that to me. I was like, why? Why is he saying you're not doing video? Why not? You're the patient. Why not? In case he kills you?
It might have been, just for their own safety, or just because he didn't feel comfortable. He's cutting into me. If the doctor says don't do it, I want him to be comfortable. I had a friend of mine say when she had like a little thing taken out, and they're like, well, he wouldn't even let me see it. I'm like, see it? He let me hold it. So I have a picture of me holding it in my hand, and the blood's leaking down. Yeah, I'm that kind of morbid weird guy.
You're a weirdo, but that's okay. We love you.
I am. Well, I don't like spiders, but you know, my own innards. Blah, there you go. There's my guts. So.
Very, very cool experience.
Thank you,
Very
Detached
different.
Lotus, for the giant fuzzy spider in our face. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, that looks smaller back there.
That's what she said.
Oh,
No, I'm sorry. I'm
thank
sorry. Lord, I apologize.
And the side panel is laughing and saying thank you very much.
Sorry. We love Mordant. We have to do stuff to him every once in a while just to keep him human. Right? Yes.
Right. We'll go with that.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
What I said.
What you said. That's what you said. So, hey, let's talk about
Well, I got something for you.
all right. I got a couple of things on my list, but they're not really in depth. So
Sure.
if you got something deep, go for
No,
it.
it's not deep. It's just you toss it out to me, and I'd like to get your people's feedback on it. You had tossed out the idea of possibly doing a weekly show instead of bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. And I'd be curious to see what kind of feedback you get on that on your fan page, facebook.com/Mordant World. Post your thoughts on whether, if you can work it out. I mean, his schedule. We all know his schedule. It's busy. It wouldn't happen every week, period. I mean, there would be weeks you skip, but I know you're still tossing that around and, see what people respond to. Maybe they just want to twice a week, twice a month, whatever.
See, now I thought you were happy with the fact that it's just twice a week because you have so much going on. You've just got some potential free time coming up, and you even said, it's good. It's good that it's only twice a month as opposed to every week. But we'll put it out there. If everybody think that they would stop by and they want to keep hearing this stuff, every week. I don't know, dude. I really like my weeks off. You hit that next Tuesday. And you're like, oh, I only got a week. Okay, what am I going to do now? So it gives you a week. It's like that warning. That would come on Friday then of that week.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm still busy trying to get that, trying to get all the show notes there so that it'll be, it'll go live on Sunday. So the podcast will go on Sunday.
Right.
Goodbye, Garbs, M. Garbs.
Take your phone. Listen through MixLore.
Yeah, there you go. Rock Girl says we will take all the Mordant we can get. I'd
Well,
pay her to say that.
I think right now, both of us, schedule-wise, the twice a month works for us. I'm just curious, just to see what people say.
Now, the movie guy says he's wrestling with the same concept, and he could just grow a pair and call us and talk about it, and then maybe we could all have that discussion about how his podcast is going. We pimp him out a little bit, but he's hiding there in the...
But if you do grow up hair, don't do like Mordant and have it on your back.
Yeah.
Too soon?
There you go.
Too
That's
soon?
what it is.
Sorry. No.
That's what it is. You're too soon. It's my conjoined twin. I told you people different things. Kids would say, "What's that lump?" I'm growing a wing. I don't know if it's an angel wing or a devil wing, but I'm growing a wing.
I'm only half of Archangel from the X-Men.
There you go. That was it.
Well, let's talk about that. That could lead into that plays into the whole you chasing your
the movie
dream.
guy's gonna call. You just got on Skype.
He can do it, but that definitely plays into chasing and catching your dream. How much is too much? How do you find that balance? That's actually some conversation you and I have been having lately.
Yeah.
We're always thinking, what's the next 5 steps ahead? Steve says I don't walk upstairs well because I'm always thinking 5 steps ahead. But what's the next big thing? Where are we going in 3 years? Where are we going in 5 years? That's just how you and I operate. And how do you yourself find the balance between what you're doing right now to where you go, once every 2 weeks is great for me, to I really want to do this over here as a living, or I want to start a new company that focuses on this, or what do you do, and what's your advice on those kind of things?
Well, something that I'm learning to do is learning to say no. I think I talked about this before, where recently, while I was in Arizona, I had an opportunity to buy some new whips. I used to, play with whip cracking and stuff like that. And I was playing around with it, and I realized, you know what? The time that I'm going to take to spend to hone my whip skills is time I could be spending on Tortuga Twins. It's time I could be spending on Mordant World. It's going to suck up my time. So I'm going to choose to quit this.
Yeah, but that's
you have
not
to decide
the
what
same
you're going
thing.
to quit and feel okay with it too. Sometimes you feel guilty. Oh, if I don't do everything, then I'm kind of a loser. No. You're spread too thin. Then you get nothing done. especially if most of what you do is, and this is what I have trouble with right now, if most of what you do is just taking care of the errands, taking care of business, as opposed to moving yourself forward. So you have to be careful that doesn't get in the way, that you have so much going on that you don't get that you don't take care of really pursuing your dream.
Yeah, but that's still not the same as, okay, you're pursuing your dream, and let's say, okay, of me, I've always, at one point I wanted to be on or start a radio station or be on a radio station. I wanted to have somebody pay me to sit and talk, and I've taken steps towards that. But so what I'm talking about is in the chasing of your dream. When you go, okay, I've had the advice of, well, go intern at a radio station, because that's how you get into radio. You go do internships. And I was like, I can't get work for free. I have to provide for my family. I have to put money in food, money in the house, food on the table. I don't want to talk about what I've talked about, but you want to go in a certain direction that has to fall in the Mordant world with the coaching and the speaking and all this other stuff. And that's 2 or 3 steps down the line of, well, obviously that will happen when we either have more demand or more time or more money or all the above. Where do you go? Instead of, I think a lot of people end up crashing their careers or their dreams because they're like me. They go, oh, I'm going to be on radio, so I'm going to quit everything and go do what the world says I should do and go do my internships, and so I can be on radio right now, or if I don't get the big end Rush Limbaugh job right now, then I must have failed. Where do you build the steps in between?
That's up to the individual, because some people do really well, and they're the ones that we hear about. Some people do really well with burning their bridges. I can't tell if we already have 2 people up, or
there you go.
We have some people calling in right now.
Good. Welcome, facilitators.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi.
It's Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Okay, I'm
Brenda?
too blind to get on the computer.
Yeah, Brenda, I need you to turn down your speakers and listen to us on the phone. There you go.
Gotcha.
Silence! I kill you.
Brenda, where are you calling from?
I'm at Mom and Dad's right now in Iowa.
Excellent. How are things with you?
No, I need to be in Florida. If it would be in Florida or Minnesota, then it would be excellent.
Right.
So how do I get on the chat here? You know me, I'm blonde.
How do you get onto the chat? Stickcam.com/MordantWorld.
It's not letting me do it. I'm trying to
Are
get
you
on
a
my
member of
Facebook.
Stickcam?
No.
Charles, is that how she has to do it? She has to be a member?
Yeah, unfortunately, Stickcam does not just allow us to do it open-ended. So you do have to sign up for a Stickcam account, and which is free and it's quick, and then you should be able to get in the chat room.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to get a hello out there to you.
Thank you. Very nice talking to you. I appreciate that.
Hey,
Rock.
I miss all you guys. Tell everybody else I said hi, will you?
I will do that. Rocco, will you put up what she needs to do so she can at least see it, or get find a way to get in touch with you so that you can tell her. Rocco's eyes are getting really wide, so you can tell her, walk her through how to do the Stickcam thing.
In blonde language, okay?
There should really on any of the Stickcam pages towards the top, there should be a button that says sign up or a link that says sign up.
I did that. I did everything it told me to, and it's telling me I need a username, and I put one in, and it said that it wasn't valid. Of course.
Oh, that means you need to find another one. That's all.
Oh, like I can think of another one? Come on.
Well, I'm sure.
Sometimes they do that to weed out the people who just, I don't know.
I know, but I'm in Iowa, and my brain's frozen. I'm not used to this weather.
Here's your name. Here's your name. Iowa Blonde. There you go. I'm sure nobody else has that.
No, not anymore. Florida.
Okay, I don't care.
Well, I'm sure Rock Girl should be able to help you out.
You take care.
Thank you, Brenda. You have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
And the 404.
The movie guy, you there?
I'm here.
Are you 404? Of course you are.
Of course I am.
How are you, my friend?
Representing the Atlanta. I'm good, man. I'm good. How the hell are you?
I'm flopping and twitching, but I think I'm doing all right. I'm above ground. That counts.
That's good. George Burns always used to say he'd wake up in the morning and read the obituaries. If he wasn't in it, he'd have breakfast. And so there you go.
So what were we going to talk to you about? What were you
you and I
talking about?
Well, you and I were both talking about the idea of the whole concept of going weekly.
Yeah. How many times is your show? In case you don't know, the Movie Guy has his own podcast show. It is called Seventh Row Center. You can find it at sevenithrowcenter.com or anywhere on bearcrawlingnation.com. And he talks about movies or the experience of movies, not necessarily,
not
movies
just movies. We talk about the experience, and this week we kind of went informational because I had a co-host come in and we talked about Walt Disney.
Yeah,
which was a lot of fun, and we went long, so we're actually going to do 2 different shows. So that's going to be
nice.
fun.
Are you pro Walt or anti Walt?
I think you have to be pro Walt.
Right.
I think you have to be pro Walt because my paychecks are still signed by him.
Oh, then we'll only speak favorably of Disney.
Uncle
the Mouse
Walt.
That Roared.
Uncle Walt. We discuss the good and the bad because, especially in the next one, we do delve into the Black Cauldron.
Ooh.
Yes. Which, for those who don't know, is Disney's worst animated movie. So, but yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where right now, we're just getting off the ground, we're just getting started. We just did our 5th episode, and now there's the talk about can we make this a weekly show, or do we keep it bi-weekly?
Right. I think somebody says that 404 webpage not available.
Yes, that's
What's funny about that?
That's nice. It's a geek term.
Yes, 404 is what comes out. Is the error that comes out when you can't find the web page. When the web page doesn't exist, you get a 404 error, page not found.
Oh, oddly enough, I think that's the Movie Guy's area code, so that's why I was confused.
It is. It is. It's always been. That was Atlanta and pretty much most of Georgia's original area code.
Right.
So.
Right. So you do a bi-weekly right now, and you do what? How many minutes is your podcast?
We try to get it about 30 minutes, and sometimes it goes to 45 minutes. And I just don't want to do a show that's an hour long because
I hear you, brother.
The movie fan.
I can't shut up though. I have to do an hour show.
Absolutely, and it's so easy to suddenly when you have my opening, and then you add in the greeting, and then you add in starting to talk about the movie, well, suddenly you've got to take a break because you're at 20 minutes.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should take breaks.
Can we stop talking long enough?
Probably not. No.
No.
I don't think so.
Dude, we're in almost 40 minutes, and we're still in the intro.
Yeah. Well, nobody's calling in with a question, so we get to talk about what we want to talk about. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Now,
So, what do you think about doing it every week? I'm sure you have a life and a lot of stuff going on, but if this is your passion,
yeah, no, it's really, I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a great time doing it. My producer's an idiot, but other than that, yeah, I've been having a blast with it, and if I can turn this into something that can be more than just a hobby, because I'm taking it seriously. I'm in love with this concept. I'm in love with the idea of getting to talk, because again, like you, I don't shut up.
right?
So it's those cases where you have to decide, how far do you push this? How far do you get it? And do you risk burning yourself out?
That's my concern as well. With right now, this is the flagship of Mordant World. When I first started off, the video blogs were, and now this is I think this is the best quality of product that I produce, or that I come up with is the podcast, the Other Side of Life podcast show. So right. I could do it every week, but I like it every other week. Because I like the downtime. It gives me room for all this other stuff. Could I do it? Could I step up? I think if it ever came to that, absolutely. I think that once I started doing it, it'd be like, oh, okay, good. We're just in a groove, and we just keep doing it. You know.
Yeah, and I think, once you get into that groove and once you, can do that, and I'm the same way. I mean, I've sat there. I spoke with my idiot producer earlier today, as a matter of fact, and we talked about, is weekly an option, and is that something that we want to do? So, when you mentioned it earlier on the show, which means that, yes, I was paying attention, that's kind of what kind of popped into my head, was that, I'm going through the same kind of thing right now. So I'm with you in that regard. I like having that time down. I like being able to sit there and decide what kind of strange topic am I going to go with next time, because I don't want to be the norm. I don't want to be a normal movie podcast. I want to be something different. So, we're going to do this one talking about Walt and talk about the animation aspect and how much fun we have with it. But, very next week, I've got an idea for a show that I think is going to be a lot of fun. So,
Right.
But it is one of those things where you have to do it, you have to think far enough in advance. Because with a show like mine, you can't just go, turn on the mic and go at the moment.
I think this is where the fear of success comes in as well. We always know fear of failure. Everybody talks about that. But I think this is where I suffer a little bit from a fear of success. And it's like, I'm so busy right now. If I become more successful, I'll have no time. And I won't be able to keep up with everything, which is not a realistic concept, but it's stuck in my brain. I think what really happens is as you become more successful, as you get into it, first of all, you get used to it. As you're learning to ride your bike, you're not always concentrating on the balance and moving your feet right and moving the handlebars. It just comes naturally. The other part is you reach a level of success and then you start delegating. And then other people take care of the other things that need to be done to keep everything moving forward, but you don't necessarily need to do. That way you can concentrate on creation and on research and development and on putting that show forward. So I think that's the reality of success. But the fear of success is, look, I'm so busy now, it's got to be really bad if I up my game. So I'm going to hold myself here because I can maintain here. And that's what goes through my head, I think, subconsciously. Do you have that similar problem, or is it just me?
I think everybody does. I think everybody does. I think, when it starts being good, when you're on that uphill, but it's good. It's like progress and progress and progress. And all of a sudden, do you hit that time? Do you hit that spot at the top? And does it level off or does it continue going up? And the last thing you want it to do is start to go down. And it's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of falling from success.
Right.
And just being overwhelmed by it all. And, the moment that something fun starts to feel like work, it no longer feels like fun.
Right. And the more I look into everything that everything I'm studying, everything that I'm saying about chasing and catching your dreams and all the people that I'm following and, quantum physics and blah, 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 all the woo-woo stuff, everything begins to be pointing towards, why are we here? We're here to learn to create. We're here, and what are we here to create? What do we practice with? We're here with our lives. So that's why winning the lottery is not necessarily a good thing, because then everything is handed to you and you're not really a good creator. And once the money runs out, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know how to make it again. But if you learn to create businesses or whatever it is that you're doing, then when the money runs out, you're still being able to do that. So you get to create a life. So that's part of why we are here. I had another point. I can't remember it. And as soon as I do, I'll tell you it.
That said, winning the lottery wouldn't suck.
Yeah.
That said, winning the lottery would not suck. And I'm sure we'd be better than most because, I won't go bankrupt in 5 years after my $100 million runs out. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, I just want a really good microphone. That's all.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I
20
trade
bucks,
my
dude.
car for a microphone.
I bought a microphone stand. I used it once so far, and I'm like, I didn't need to spend $30 on this, but woo, I have a microphone stand.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know. I've honestly never felt what you guys are talking about, the fear of success. You said that to me before, Alex, about, and I think that's cliches are cliches because they're true to a point, and that's definitely a cliche of, my brother-in-law, he used to be able to draw excellently, very creative, could do fantastical art. And I'm talking about like World of Warcraft type art, fantasy, that kind of thing. Amazing artist. And we're like, why don't you do something with this? Why don't you just do it for yourself? Start a gallery online, Well, because as soon as I have to do it, it's not fun anymore. I'm like, to me, that's defeatist. That's defeatism. It's and you know, for lack of better terms, you know, everybody plug your ears for that. It's bullshit. It's I work 10 hours a day to pay my bills. I work another 4 or 5 hours. Not every night. You know, I'm not as hardworking as our Mordant Mon, but I work another 4 or 5 hours every other night or so to do what I want to do. You don't think that I could take that 10 hours in a day and work at what I love and still love it? I mean, when our Mordant Mon was here, we do those Wednesdays where we put in 8 or 10 hours of just working on our own stuff. And it was long and it was tired, but that was so much fun, so much energy, got so much done that I don't get it. I don't get the whole, well, you know, I love this. If you're going to throw money at me to do what I'm doing right now, and I don't have to do the 10 hours before this, because I did 10 and a half hours today, then did a show, then did this show, you know, I'll take the other 10 hours and do more promoting and more research. I don't know. To me, I've just never understood that concept. The moment I have to do it, it's not fun. I don't know. I don't get it.
And it sounds like kind of a cop-out a little bit, or an excuse. And it also sounds like it's somebody who's never had to do it that way before, so they don't really know. Hey, I bet it's just like me with as I get more successful, I'm not going to have any more time because it's going to require more work. I don't know what I'm talking about. Is it that difficult? No. Now, no. As I became more successful with the live show, it's easier for me. You know, you find things that, you know, it's like riding the bike. It's easier. So you don't have to worry about it. So I don't really know what I'm talking about when I'm doing that. It's just a subconscious fear. I think the same thing may be true with this guy where he is just, I bet it's like that. But he doesn't know because he's never done it. Now, if he's gone up and said, that's my experience, then we have another conversation entirely.
I do kind of get a little bit what Alex was saying about the fall from success, but I think it's a fear of rejection a lot of times too. And I'm going to speak for you, Mr. Mon, because I speak for myself in the same way. Of sometimes we don't want to jump to that next level because you can't help but go, how much work am I going to put in? How much sacrifice am I going to do, blood, sweat, and tears here for somebody to not like it, for somebody to say, no, that's not good enough.
Right.
You know, it's Alex and I were talking about our numbers today, and I had to tell him, I was like, look, everybody's in a downward spiral right now. Don't know why, but it's not just new podcasts. It's every podcast is in a downward cycle. It cycles. That's what radio does, is what TV does, is what everybody does. I think it's cycling now because all the fall TV shows are coming back on. So people are putting that on their little iPods and watching it on the way to work instead of listening to our shows. And why would you do that? Do you not like us anymore? Shame on you. Your father would be disappointed. You should always listen to Other Side of Live on the way to work. No exceptions. So that being said,
there's a plug, I think.
The one other exception being seventhRowCenter.com.
That's true. That's
of course.
But y'all balance each other perfectly. The Other Side of Live is this week.
Why don't we take a moment and plug? Charles, I want you to talk. We're going to do shameless plug time. We're going to talk about the podcast awards, which I think it's going to be too late for those of you listening to do anything, but those of you who are actually here in the room. Charles, why don't you talk about the podcast awards really quick?
Podcastawards.com. This is the 7th annual awards hosted by Blueberry, or Raw Voice, which is the parent company of Blueberry. Great company. I've usually approached it with, it'd be nice. And this year I'm going, no, please. I really want the award. I've done this a while. I'd love to be recognized for it. If you go into bearcrawlingnation.com, under announcements, there's a please read this blog and vote for us. Nominate us. You click the link. It has all the shows in the nation, including The Other Side of Live, and you just copy and paste on the podcast awards. You can only do it one time, and you only do one show per category. But if you go and nominate us, that would help us, all of us, get a little more recognition. And who doesn't want a nice trophy to sit behind their camera when they're doing a show?
Right. I think that the category that I'm in is health and fitness.
Health and
that's
fitness.
The only one that's seemed to fit, so we decided to put it in there. And there's also the most favorite, the popular,
right, the People's Choice
podcast.
And the best produced.
People's Choice, that was it.
What you're more welcome.
Like Charles said, you can only vote one time. So if you like multiple shows on the Bear Crawling Nation, put those all in that first time, including Seventh Row Center.
Yeah, all in Seventh Row Center as the movie one. And the reason, and of course at the bottom it lets you put in suggestions, and I did the same suggestion you did today, was a self-help and wellness, because there's not that category right now.
Right.
But yeah, that's the quick and dirty of it. And at the end of this month, we'll know who's nominated, and if any of us get nominated, then our individual shows will ask you to vote. But that'll be on Facebook. We won't bother you here.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will. We'll bother you everywhere.
We're bastards. Of course we're going to talk about it. This is why we do this. You know? I mean, afterwards, go ahead.
I was just going to say, real quick, thanks to everybody who have already voted. We really do appreciate it.
It's true.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tamaru. I think that's the one person that did that.
Well, she's the only one that's bragging about it.
Yeah, she's the only one bragging about it. I did it. I'm cool.
Yeah, it's cool. We had Mrs. Swan on for a second, but she disappeared. Looking like a man.
She disappeared. So again, 813-413-7133. We'd love to hear from you. Of course, we prefer if you have something to talk about. But you can always just say hi, and then we'll boot you off. Boom. Hey, great talking to you. Get out. I want to give a special shout out to Shadoo42. Really? Is there Shadow? He'll school me on that. He is a member of a band called Musical Blades, and if I'm wrong on this, you can spank me later. Shadow. It's pronounced Shadow. Well, spell it right, son. So hung out with them at their Renaissance Festival band, and a lot of fun and a lot of good music. And it's nice to have you on the side panel. Shadow 42. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you, Shadow 42 sounds better. Gotta say it.
It's got a kind of a jazz feel to it.
It does. Hey, Shadow 42.
And now Shadow 42.
That's nice.
Wow, how we've digressed or digest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the last thing on my list to talk about is the Mordant World meetup that we recently had.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about that.
You do that.
Because it's my show, gosh darn it.
So Alex, how have you been?
Oh, I'm getting off the line. This is his run.
Oh, are you leaving? Well, thank you,
Yeah,
Alex, for stopping
I'm
by.
going to continue to hang out in the chat room and everything like that, because that's where all the cool kids are. Because otherwise, I'm just on the phone with the idiot producer and you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're
All
fired.
right,
Thanks for
so
having me
got
on.
top billing there.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, Mordant World meetup. We had I do this every place I go, or most every place I go, where there's everybody gets together. It's kind of a meet and greet. Everybody gets together, and either we'll talk to each other, and people will, in some places it's been really cool. It's more of a forum in which I'll start talking about something, and then other people will bring up different aspects of what they want to chat about, chasing and catching their dreams. In eras in Georgia, Atlanta, it was more like I was just beginning to work with leveling up your life. So that was more what that was about. And I worked with a few people as far as leveling up their life and trying to get a breakthrough with things. This time it was mostly me talking, and I tried something new where I had everybody write down on an index card something they might want to talk about or work on, and put it in a hat, and I drew the hat, and if they wanted to own up to the fact that it was their subject, I'd work with them a little bit, and if they didn't, I'd just talk about it. And I think it worked really well. I had one of those, the first time I did something like that, so I had one of those moments of, this doesn't, I could feel every glitch. I could feel all the dead air, and like I'm talking too much. And I'm certainly mentioning that nobody else is talking too much. And I had my friend who was there with me who does stand-up. She's like, that was like doing stand-up. And what the comedians never need to do is talk about how quiet the room is. And you did it 20 times. And I was like,
Ooh.
I was depressed that night. I was like, oh, really? Eventually I'll listen to the tape, because I even videotaped it and I recorded it. Eventually I'll listen to it. And much like the other side of live shows, I'll go, oh, it was fine. Or it was not as bad as I thought. But it certainly showed me what I needed to learn. It was a good time, and I had people up afterwards come up and go, I really had a good time, and I really got something out of that. And somebody made a Mordant World cake.
Really?
It was awesome.
And you don't remember who
tasted
did
too.
it? Really?
Wait. I got a thing from Shadow42. Hey, mate, mind if I post the webpage in the chat? No, post away. Pimp yourself out, brother. Go ahead and put that there, and I'll even say it out loud once I can read it.
Now back to the cake. Somebody not only made you a cake, made a Mordant World cake, and you don't remember?
It is shaped like my logo, and in fact, if you go to the Facebook page and you look at the pictures from that night, it's in there. I might actually change it on Thursday. I might change it to my profile pic.
So who made it?
Kimber Starnes. Kimber Starnes. She lives here in Minnesota.
Okay.
And she's been a follower of Mordant World, and she likes the Tortuga Twins, and she made a cake, and it was awesome. It was good. And the children where I'm living at, they loved it.
That's cool.
So Shadow42 has put www.musicalblades.com. Also on Facebook at... Okay, that's too long. I'm not reading all that.
He lied. He's not going to read any of your stuff.
I'm not reading that. That's a long thing. Find it. Google him.
Hey, Angie, write it down, then it'll make it into the show notes, possibly.
Once again, you're getting close to the end here. 813-413-7133. I think Vicky Swan is going to make another stab at it. We will see if that happens. So a little bit of what we're talking about is the fear of success tonight. A little bit of, you know, if you're not afraid of failing, then what's the thing keeping you back? If you know that and I've talked to you about this, Charles, you look at something that you're about to do. Do you think you're going to be successful? Do you know you could do this really well? We talked about this with motivational speaking with you. Every answer you gave was, yes, I know I could rock this thing. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that's standing in the way is you. Same thing with me. It's the only thing standing in the way. So it's not a fear of failure. It's got to be a fear of success. So for whatever that is, whatever that looks like, it might even be, it'll jumble up my life. I'm comfortable, with this. I have too many shows. I have shows on the weekend. If I get really successful, then there's going to be a conflict, and I don't like conflict. So I don't want to do that. So I hold myself back. That may be another thing. I don't want to mess with my job. Hey, this new thing that really may take off in my life may take off to the point where it's going to conflict with my job. And yet it won't be big enough that it's going to take over my job. What do I do? And I don't want that conflict. So I'm afraid of that success or not being successful enough.
You mentioned me earlier about the public speaking and how every question is yes. But you know what? Quite honestly, I don't have an ego like I can do everything in the world. I just have failed at very little other than being a good person, a good husband sometimes. But everybody makes mistakes. But usually if I tackle a project, I can complete it with some form of success. So if you asked me, do I think I could do whatever in rock? I'm like, yeah. Do you think you could be a black man on the Cosby Show? Yes, I could. I'd rock that sweater.
Yes, I could.
Yes, I could. So, I mean, that's a little bit not fair to the audience because, yes, I believe that I can flip on a microphone and talk about movies for an hour because that's what I do. I talk, and I have opinions on everything. I believe if Bill Cosby had canceled at that motivational speaker seminar thing that we went to, and they said, we need somebody in the audience to raise their hand and speak, I'd have been up there. And I would have talked to 40,000 people about nothing for about 30 minutes, and I'd had a blast. Right. But that's just me. That's what I do. I talk. Do I think I could write a book? Probably. Do I think it'd be great? No. But I could write a book. Not yet, I think I don't know. That's how I tackle life. I think I can do everything. Can I be the best at it? Well, only very few people in the world can be the best. That's why they're the best. But I can be damn good at it. Anyway,
and all that you need there is practice. That's what they've found to be the best of the best. The only difference between those people who have a natural ability and the people who don't have a natural ability, but whoever becomes the best of the best, the only thing is practice.
Right. And
practice and doing it. Your 10,000 hours, like Malcolm Gladwell talks about in The Outliers.
That makes that okay. Now I know. Okay. Now I know where I want to go with that is, I can do everything in this world. But you have to take time and focus to be good at winning one thing. And that's where the key comes in, especially for me. But, there's people, Angie loves to put herself down, rock girl. What if you're not good at anything? What if you're not, oh, shut up. You're great at pictures. You are. You're great at running this bear crawling nation. She is the lifeblood of the nation. She's great at it. You find your niche, and the best time, when you're really good at something is when you're just doing what you do. And that's what she tells me all the time. I'm like, man, we wouldn't know what to do without you if you weren't promoting. I mean, we've promoted this show. We've promoted the road show. We've promoted all the publications this week. And I didn't lift a finger. All of that was her. And she goes, well, I'm just doing what I do. I'm like, yeah, and you're good at it. Yeah. So find what you really want to focus on because I've done the band thing. I love shooting ideas. I love talking to Tom in Minnesota about the game, shooting ideas for games. I love to talk to you about movie ideas. I mean, I'll talk to anybody about anything. However, what I spend my time on is the production of the podcast and doing my own show, because you have to narrow it down at some point.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to figure, hey, well, I want to be good at everything. Well, then you're going to be kind of good at everything.
Yeah.
Those of us who have played Dungeons and Dragons, if you're a multi-class character, it takes you twice as long to get up. So everybody else is getting stronger and stronger, and you're like, oh, look, I'm like half of what everybody else is, but I can do both. So you kind of got to figure out what that is that you really want to do. For me and what I'm moving forward into, all these things are part of it. So I'm lucky in that way, and I'm lucky that I have my ADD brain that allows me to hit everything at once. It's my superpower. So,
and that's just realizing what you are good at. And when I finally sat down to launch this podcast, I do the Bear Calling Nation Live, I tried others, tried different formulas, saw what worked for other people, and couldn't figure out why it wouldn't work for me. And I finally said, you know what, I just have to be egotistical, which I hate to do. Even if I think you might attest to this. You might not call it out if you want to call it out. I'm all for that. But I don't really have a huge ego. I don't sit here and go, I'm the best at everything. I'm the best at everything. I just find ways to make what other people do better. And I have opinions on everything. And I find a way, in my opinion, to talk to you that will get to talking for an hour and a half. When I started doing that on the microphone, that's when I found my home.
Right.
So
right. No, I think that in order to perform in front of an audience, they always say that actors have big egos, especially entertainers on stage. And I think it's a necessity, because you have to be able to survive the sucky times. You have to have a big enough ego that when your show is tanking and people are booing you, you can keep going. Yeah. And the next day you can go again. You have to be able to come up. So, yeah, you do need relatively big ego. But I think what you have is a lot of confidence, and you're not quiet about it.
No.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
But I've been ashamed of who I am for a long time before now. And so I'm overcompensating a little bit. But you're right. It's you have to have some kind of an ego. And part of it is misconstrued, though. Part of it is, for me, is not I have an ego. It's I don't fail at things, because when I don't tackle projects I just can't do. I'm not a NASA rocket scientist. I'm not going to try to be, But if I also go, why not? Most people fail or think they can't because they just go, I can't. And I just don't have that in me.
They don't try.
Most
people don't try. I don't know the percentage, but it's a huge percent of people don't try. I think and the ones that even try one time or more is less than 5%. And I think it's even less than 3, maybe even, it's a disgustingly small amount that people that don't even try, are the ones that do try.
Should we make that the Mordant World biker patch, the 3%ers?
2%ers.
Yeah, we're the 3%ers.
Let's find the percent. Let's find out what that percent actually is, and that's a great idea. Rock Girl, get on it.
Now,
baby.
I will say, I do regret how it comes off sometimes.
What, the egotisticalness?
Yeah, because I'm a little harsh on my show. I mean, that's what I do. It's edgier. It people poke fun at me, and I'm ready for it, but I poke fun back. But people listen because I do get angry about things in life that they feel that people should get angry about that they're not. I do poke fun. It's a little bit of a rough and tumble kind of show. It's fun, but sometimes I come off rough and mess with people. But I know one thing: somebody who met me at the meetup, first time in person, they met me and spent all day there, and at the Renaissance Festival, the Bear Calling meetup, they told me. And I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to embarrass them or whatever. They said, man, I was really surprised. Somebody out there, he was shocked. Somebody out there has a really big heart. And I'm thinking, it's Steve or you or, And they said, no, it's me. It was me. And I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. And I get why you're surprised, because all you experience is me through the show, which is, this is my show. I talk about things. It's my life. What? So I get that I was a little bit of surprise, but sometimes it's like, I know that I'm a good guy. I know that I have a big heart. I know that I take care of people. That's what I do. But I know not all that always comes through. And that's something you got to be prepared for when you're chasing your dream. When you're chasing that dream to be a public speaker, Mr. Mon. You're chasing the dream to be a public speaker. and you build it and you build it and you've got your little team around you, or not little, I'm not trying to degrade it, but you got us around you going, hey, go for it. You've tried your speech. We're pushing you. We're all there. We reached on for your first speech and it was great. And then you go to your second speech and it was great, but then your audience grows. And no longer is it controlled by people who understand what you're doing and know that down the road you're going to be an amazing speaker, but right now you're getting started. And then somebody goes, that sucked, because it's not perfect. And then you go, what? And your world crashes, because not all of who you are is going to come out through what you do when you're chasing your dream.
Right. And that's part of the hard time I had the other night at the meetup, because it didn't go exactly as I thought. I was trying some new things. I was trying some new ideas out, and they didn't go as smoothly as even they went in Atlanta. I'll tell you, I was a little upset. I was a little, I didn't want to talk to anybody for a little while. I had to pull into my man cave, but I knew I was what I call reeling from the punch. I said, you know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to look at this. This is showing me where the weaknesses are and what I need to work on. This is an opportunity. I get it. But right now I'm reeling from the punch. And it took me about a day and a half, and I started coming back, and I talked to my coach. And she agreed. She's like, yeah, this is a great opportunity, because now you know that what doesn't work. So now you know that you have to, the shooting from the hip thing is great, but you need a little bit more than that. You need to put some more effort in it than that if you really want to take this to the next level. At this level, it's working fine. If you really want to come up here, though, you gotta do some of the work. Like Seth Godin said in The Dip. You have to put that effort in. And it weeds out the weak. Honestly, it weeds out, and I don't want to say weak. It weeds out the people who really want to do that versus the people who think it's just a great idea.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Real quick, I want to shout out to World Traveler Jim, who is in the side panel, or at least the rolling screen of his pictures are. So I want to say hello to him.
That's
Hello.
a man. That's a man that changed my world, because we went. He was one of the first people to get me through that transition of going from your buddies who tell you not that everything's great, but they give you soft, gentle feedback, and we'll do better next time. And it's a growing. I went from there to touching the world and touching people that I didn't know, and he was one of the first people to respond to that. And I don't know. It's hard to say. In podcasts, you don't get a ton of feedback. So when somebody does feedback that you don't know, it's important. And I'd heard of him through other podcasts, and I'd seen his website. And to me, other people have said this. He could do the whole Discovery Channel, take you around the world. Go to it's worldtravelerjim.com. There's a series of videos he did called Small Places. It's on par with anything you're going to see on the Travel Channel or Discovery Channel, minus the super production cameras, but it's great. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, I think that's his job. I'm thinking that's his job. He travels the world with Discovery or somebody and does these voiceovers and all this other stuff, because that's what it sounds like. And he's very knowledgeable, and he started doing the World Traveler Gym show. And then when he started feeding back on my show and being positive, that changed how I viewed myself, because to me, he was the next level up.
Right.
He was already there, and he's sitting there saying, no, you're doing a great job, or whatever he said to me. He didn't say, you suck, get off the internet. So whatever it was is positive that he said. And then he was one of the first full members from the outside world to become a Bear Crawling Nation podcast. Then he was definitely the first person to come up with his own idea for a new podcast and launch it through the nation. So he's really changed the way we do business. And then I met you, and everything's kind of skyrocketed from there. So thank you, Jim. Just wanted to say that. And he runs Nil Desperandum, by the way, which you were on.
Yes. Yes, well, I think that we're winding down. We've hit past our 60-minute mark.
I'm just getting started.
You're just getting started? We're going to continue this conversation on Bear Crawling Nation Live.
Thursday nights, 9:30 p.m.
Thursday nights. Let's start pimping people out. Bear Crawling Nation Live, bearcrawlingnation.com if you want to find Charles. SeventhRowCenter.com if you want to find the movie guy for his commentary on the film world. World Traveler, is it worldtravelergym.com?
It's worldtravelergym.com for the small places videos that I talked about, and World Traveler Gym Show. ndstories.com for the fictional stories that you can find our Mordant Mon reading on, along with many, many other fine fellow narrators. And
one more time, go ahead and give out that the podcast awards.
That's it. Podcastawards.com.
Boom. That's it.
Facebook.com/Mordant World.
Boom.
MordantWorld.com. Hulu.com/Mordant World.
So I want to thank everybody for stopping by this week. It's been kind of an interesting show in that we just really just talked about our lives and talked about. It was almost like a coffee talk.
Yeah.
We're just sitting around going, hey, what's going on with you? Hey, what's going on with you? Instead of having more of a theme or anything. I guess the only thing theme that really came up was fear of success. And it wasn't even enough of one that I'm going to label the show this. I'm not sure we will. We just may call it, Surgical Strike. I should name the show it's Surgical Strike.
What?
Surgical Strike Coffee Talk. I don't know why I'm doing George Bush, but I am.
Oh, that's something else.
So, thank you again. We will see you all in a couple of weeks. Because if you have any input about this going to a weekly show, whether it is for or against, Facebook.com/Mordant World, go ahead and leave a comment there. I guess I can start that up and see if anybody comments on it. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for sticking with us for over an hour. I really appreciate you stopping by and filling up the side panel and chattering away in the chatterbox. You make this very fun for me and for Charles. And I'm glad that you're inviting us into your homes and onto your iPods, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Charles, you got anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Ciao, Dreamcatchers.
The way you can cut a rug, watching you, the only drug I need. So gangster, I'm so thug, you're the only one I'm dreaming of. You say I can be myself now finally. In fact, there's nothing I can't be. I want the world to see you be with me. Hey, soul sister, ain't that Mr. on a radio, stereo, the way you move ain't fair, no. Hey, soul sisters, I don't